What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. I got Brian with me in the studio once more. Big up Brian for taking over Simeon's role for the week, as Simeon picked a good week to go on holiday, isn't it? We're going to start calling him Ali Gold because he's going to go away every time something big happens with Tottenham. But the news is, as everyone knows, Antonio Conte has been appointed as new Tottenham manager, as you can see, holding the shirt. So Bob, don't you worry, he's holding the shirt now. Look, this guy, what an appointment this is. I can't stress what an appointment this is. This is the best, literally the best appointment, the best news we could have heard coming out of the club after what was a shit week for us, losing to Man United 3-0, not knowing where any light was at the end of the tunnel. And now Antonio Conte has come in, and the mood of the fan base, the mood of the club, the mood of everyone has just completely switched. And there's been a statement on the club website, which I'm going to read through with you guys. And it states that we are delighted to announce the appointment of Antonio Conte as our head coach on a contract until the summer of 2023 with an option to extend, which is quite important. Antonio has won titles in Serie A, including hat-trick of Scudettos with Juventus. The Premier League has and also managed Italy during the Azzurri to the quarterfinals of Euro 2016. Born in Lecce, Antonio began his playing career at his hometown 1985 to 1991 before achieving legendary status at Juventus between 1991 and 2004. A midfielder, he won 5 Scudettos with Laventia Signora, the UEFA Cup in 1993 and Champions League in 1996. He earned 20 caps for Italy and was part of that squad that achieved runners-up status in the 1994 World Cup and Euro 2000. Antonio began his coaching career as an assistant in Siena in 2005 and had spells at Arezzo, Bari, where he won Serie B, and Atalanta before returning to Juventus in 2011. He won the title in his first season, 2011-2012, completing the campaign unbeaten and equaling a club record 28-match unbeaten run set by Fabio Capello. He completed a hat-trick of titles with successes in 2012, 2013, 2013, 2014, when Juventus amassed a Serie A record of 102 points. Antonio took charge of the Italian national team in 2014 and led them to the quarterfinals of Euro 2016, topping their group, beating Belgium and Spain along the way. After 2 years in charge of the Azzurri, Antonio returned to club football at Chelsea in 2016 and secured the Premier League crown in his first season, 2016-2017, with then a league record of 30 wins in 38 matches, including a run of 13 straight victories. Antonio added the FA Cup to his list in honours in 2018 before moving back to Italy and Inter Milan in May 2019, having finished second in Serie A in 2019-20 and reached the final of the Europa League. He guided Inter to their first title in 11 years in 2021, ending Juventus's run of 9 successive Scudettos. Antonio said, "I'm extremely happy to return to coaching and to do so at Premier League level club that has the ambition to be a protagonist again. Tottenham Hotspur has a state-of-the-art facilities and one of the best stadiums in the world. I can't wait to start working to convey to the team and the fans the passion, mentality and determination that have always distinguished me as a player and a coach. Last summer, our union did not happen because the end of my relationship with Inter was still too recently and emotionally too involved with the end of the season. So I felt that it wasn't yet the right time to return to coaching. But the contagious enthusiasm and determination of Daniel Levy in wanting to entrust me with this task has already hit the mark. Now that the opportunity has returned, I have chosen to take it with great conviction. Commenting on the appointment, Managing Director of Football Fabio Paratici said, "We are delighted to welcome Antonio to the club. His track record speaks for itself with vast experience and trophies in both Italy and England. I know firsthand the qualities Antonio can bring to us, having worked with him at Juventus, and look forward to seeing his work with our talented group of players." Further news on Antonio's coaching staff will follow in due course. So what do you make out of the words said by Antonio Conte there?
Do you know what? When you read that again, I completely forgot how much of a serial winner he is, not just as a manager, but as a player. You look at someone like Jose Mourinho, who was a serial winner as a manager,
but didn't do much in the game playing.
And Klopp, and this guy is the genuine serial winner throughout playing and managing career.
I mean, the only other manager that I could think of that ilk that was kind of like has the same pedigree in playing and managing was probably Pep Guardiola.
The only other, I mean, I will go back a little bit further, and you'd probably say Kenny Dalglish for here, but the words are incredible. It just, do you know what? It's like the club has had the dead weight lifted off its shoulders. A deep breath has been inhaled, and the sun is shining, and everything looks a hell of a lot more rosier than it did after the match on Saturday. It's huge. It's massive. I'm so excited to see where we go now, because we are genuinely going in the right direction at long last.
And we have genuinely got a world-class manager in the prime of his career. Not Jose Mourinho, who, as much as he is a world-class manager, as much as he's got one of the greatest CVs ever, everyone could see that he wasn't the same manager as he was when he was at Chelsea the first time. When he was winning leagues all over, when he won the Champions League with Porto, he wasn't the same manager then. He was in decline. And whatever anyone says, yes, he could have done a better job here, Jose Mourinho, if he was given the better tools to work with and if he wasn't sacked 6 days before a cup final. Yes, I completely grant that. But they're in completely different eras of their career. Antonio Conte is at the top of his career. 5 title wins, 5 league wins in 7 full seasons. I mean, that just blows my mind, to be honest. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's also very rare that you get a manager that's done that, but also been manager of a national country as well. So he's got that experience as well. So if you look at it, he's covered all the bases for club and country, both as a player and once again as a manager. And I think this just breathes a huge sigh of relief. I think the players, a lot of them are now, thank God our prayers have been answered. And a few others are like, oh, crap, my nightmares are coming true. So this is going to be fascinating. And with the international break, and like we said, we won't have that many people on the international break compared to what we've had in previous years. So he's going to be able to get to know the players well. He can start planning and getting his philosophy in place. And also, it's a good time to get him in before this Christmas, the December showdown, which always goes through with fixtures. I think it's 2 fixtures a week, isn't it, pretty much?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the timing has been great. I think the fact that we got this deal done so quickly as well just shows that they were going to move heaven and earth to make sure this went through.
Definitely. And Matt Law was saying that Antonio Conte is understood to have watched the Amazon All or Nothing documentary since first turning down the Spurs job, which has given him an insight into how the club operates and the characters of some of these players. And what I want to say on the characters of some of these players, the party stops now. That's as simple as that. The party stops now, and this is where the hard work begins. There's no more of these lethargic displays. There's no more of these pussyfooting around the football pitch. There's no more of these hiding on the football pitch. That stops now. That all stops now. Where the party begins is in the stands now. And I can't be happier with which manager has come in, and I can't be happier with what kind of a mentality he's going to bring to this football club.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we were saying that the lunatics are running the asylum. Well, the doctors, whoever you want to call them, have locked up the lunatics. They are now being watched every single move they make. There will be do you know what? There will be fear for some of those players walking through the training ground, because obviously Antonio will have the one-on-ones with every player and say like, "Hi, this is me. This is what I plan for you," and whatever. And there's going to be people, that kind of day when you didn't have your PE kit, you didn't do PE, or you had a test and you pulled a sickie. There's going to be a few players like that going, oh no, well, what can happen? Because stuff is about to get real at N17.
Yeah, it's going to get really real. And this is another interesting one from Matt Law. And he says, Conte believes part of his rebuild has already been done when Tottenham kept Harry Kane this summer. And on Harry Kane, do you think he's looking at Tottenham now and thinking, you know what, they do mean business now?
1 billion%. 1 billion%. Listen, every Spurs fan would love to be in Harry Kane's shoes. And let's face it, I would most definitely feel like he did last summer after what's been going on. And I think everyone else would, because we have not matched his ambition at all. And it got to the point where he's at the peak of his career and he wants to win things. And he said, show me your ambition, which we've been crying out for years, and we didn't do it. And I don't know what better way you can say, here we go, this is a sign of what we're going to do, than signing the elite manager in world football that was available, the hottest free agent in world football, and he goes right up there with the Klopps and Guardiolas. Yeah. So, I mean, it's huge, it's massive, and I think Harry Kane right now is saying, do you know what? I think I may have literally done the right thing, because if Conte had come and he's gone, I think he'd be heartbroken. So I think now we're going to see the old Harry Kane. He loves the game against Everton, so I'm going for a Harry Kane brace straight away. And we'll see. But yeah, I think Harry Kane is probably the happiest man in the Tottenham team right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Harry Kane must be licking his lips at the thought of being managed by Antonio Conte. I mean, it's also rightly reported that the players, or Antonio Conte, has taken his first training session today and will be in the dugout on Thursday night. And I can't wait to be in that stadium on Thursday night to welcome Antonio to the club. I mean, it's just such a massive day for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. It really is. When you look at 48 hours where we were to where we are now, I mean, it's just night and day, isn't it? It's just completely night and day.
I'll go back even further. Since the first international break and when the South Americans came back with that COVID, every single day waking up as a Spurs fan and not just as calling into these shows that you do every single morning, everyone's like, oh, here we go. It was just so negative, and so was the football. And it was just such a chore, and people were falling out of love with the club. And even going to the ground, you know when you're walking to that ground what the atmosphere is normally like. There's just, I'm doing this now because I have to, not because I want to. And
just going through the motions.
Yeah, literally, that's what it is. That's what it is. But you're like, oh, no, we're going to get battered, or, oh, no, the football's going to be boring. Whereas now, that walk that you're going to do tomorrow, not tomorrow, Thursday,
there'll be pride, a lot of pride in it, won't it?
There'll be a lot of pride. There'll be a lot of excitement, and the atmosphere will be electric in that ground. I feel very, very sorry for Vitesse. Everything. Oh, here we go.
And they're probably looking at the game being like, you know what, we can get something at the Tottenham Stadium seeing as the last game, but maybe think again. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lineup Conte does go with on Thursday night. I'm excited to see that. But when you're looking at Conte and when you're looking at like the passion he has for the game, the passion he shows on the sidelines, the passion is going to rub off on the fan base, it's going to rub off on the players. And I literally just cannot wait to see this all in motion. And I think it's also important to say, like, if it starts off badly and we do have a few negative results, we have to stick by him. We have to trust in everything he says. The guy, he's shown previously, if you give him what he wants, if you put trust in him, he will provide results. No two ways about it. He will provide results if you give him what he wants. And the fan base need to give him as much love, as much as passion he shows for the game.
Completely. I mean, if I saw Antonio Conte right now and he told me tomorrow was the 55th of June, I'd believe him. I would believe him. That's the kind of thing you got to do with this guy. If he starts off slow, just let it be. It's not him. He's got to get just because he's an elite manager, it doesn't mean he comes in and straight away the team understand everything he's doing. They're all at peak fitness for him. That part's going to take time, and why it's key this international break is there so you can work on that. As you said earlier, he didn't get off to the greatest start at Chelsea, saw that Arsenal performance and went, enough, we do things my way now, I've enough of this. And then we know what happened. 14 consecutive wins on the bounce, and they walked to the title, and that's what he's going to do. So it doesn't matter how bad we get, let him get to January. Keep with him. The fans play a huge part, and the fans won't turn on him. I just don't think they will. And like we were saying as well, that South Stand now is going to be rocking because of the passion they see from the manager. It is going to
rub off on them for sure. Rub off on all of us.
It's contagious, isn't it? Yeah. It's contagious. When you see, I mean, I still remember, and I keep having this image right now. Do you remember when he had his first game at Chelsea and they scored the winner against West Ham later on, and he ran down the touchline and into the crowd?
Yes.
That's the kind of things you see. And there's that one at the Euros where he jumped on top of the manager's dugout. Mm-hmm. These are the things you're going to see from Conte. And like what Thomas Frank did at Brentford for the first game, when he's like this, you're going to get all that. And he knows how to work the crowd.
And how much of a difference is that going to be to Nuno? Because Nuno, when you looked at him on the sidelines,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Folded arms, no emotion. When you looked at the sidelines, you're thinking, this guy doesn't put any sort of belief into me. This guy doesn't put any sort of belief into me. There's no passion there. You're seeing wrong decisions week in, week out. And, even if you're seeing wrong decisions week in, week out, if you've got a bit of passion, if you've got a bit about you in the sidelines, if you can, bring up the players' confidence, then fine. Maybe you can, get past that and the decisions will get better in the future. But when everything is kind of on the same page, you're just like, come on, man. And, when you're saying Conte and the things like you've just mentioned, what passion it's going to give to the fan base. I cannot wait.
Exactly. I mean, going back to Nuno and doing this, you've got to remember he also did the Cody stroke the beard for wisdom, whereas Cody it works and for him it just didn't. It really, really is exciting. It really is. When you say night and day, there couldn't be two more contrasting people to fit that analogy.
Yeah.
And what they bring to the squad. Listen, we're all sorry that it didn't work out for Nuno. But when you come in as the 7th or 8th or 9th or whatever choice it was, and then you come into the Harry Kane saga, and then obviously this took 75 days, and the feeling towards the separation between the fans, Nuno wasn't a hiding to nothing. Yeah. And your grandpa said yesterday that he looked depressed, and like I said, I went back and looked at some of those interviews yesterday when I got home. And your grandpa's right. He did look like there was something more than just what was going on at Tottenham. That was there, and you never like to see someone be out of work. And obviously, Nuno, we all wish you the best, and sorry it didn't work out, but this is what happens. We need to be ruthless. That's what Tottenham Hotspur need to do, both with the management appointment, the player recruitment, the player sales, and we have got Mr. Ruthless himself.
And 100%. And I just want to go through a few things that some of our rivals have been saying, starting off with Cesc Fabregas. And he says, I hate to say it, but what an appointment by Spurs. And obviously, we all know how Fabregas fitted into that Conte team and how he thrived in it and how much better it made him as a player, as Fabregas stated himself once upon a time. But when you read something like that by Fabregas, who clearly hates Spurs, he had a passion against Spurs when he was at Chelsea and Arsenal. What does that say to you?
It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes because obviously he didn't have to come out and say that. Mm-hmm. He could have thought it and not say it. When you hear an ex-player come out like that against about any manager, but when you play for the two teams that you've just mentioned, that's like a grenade. Tottenham Hotspur have launched a grenade into the Premier League, and this is what the height of Fabregas, and as I said, Fabregas also said that Conte took his game to levels he never knew were possible. And let's face it, Fabregas at Arsenal was sensational. That's why he went to Barcelona. He came back to Chelsea in his first couple of seasons. Again, he was untouchable, and he got better. Mm-hmm. So it's just full of excitement to see what he's going to do with some of these players. It really is. Yeah, completely. And Pep Guardiola came out and said, welcome back to the Premier League. His career speaks for himself. An outstanding manager who has had success everywhere, and absolutely spot on from Pep Guardiola. But what I want to talk about to finish off is Daniel Levy and ENIC and the board and stuff like that, because as much as they've done great work bringing in Antonio Conte, which they have done, you got to say that, along with Don Fabio, which I'll get into in a minute. With the board, right? As much as they've done great work bringing this great manager in, this is only step one. And I think it was mentioned a few times on the stream today, but they're backed into a corner now. Yep. They're backed into a corner. It's either put up or shut up now for Daniel Levy and ENIC. It's either put up or shut up now. They've done a great thing in bringing in Antonio Conte, which has got to be said, and well done to them for doing that. But if this guy doesn't get backed, he will walk straight away. He will walk straight away with no problems whatsoever. So if he's not backed and he walks, that is all on you, Mr. Levy. I said Levy. You said Levy.
Mr. Levy and ENIC. It is all on you if he's not backed now. And if this doesn't work, it is all on you, because you've brought in a manager to succeed now. You need to give him the tools to succeed now. And if you do give it to him, then I will give you my support. I will give you my support if you back him. But if you don't back him, unfortunately, you're going to have the whole fan base turn on you. Or I say unfortunately, fortunately, you'll have the whole fan base turn on you because you can't bring in a manager of this stature and of this magnitude and not back him. There is just literally 0 point to it.
You're bang on the main. Like I said, I personally think Joe Lewis has had more to do with this than Levy, but obviously there's been a dialogue there. He is backed into a corner now. He is severely backed into a corner because what happened as well, I would have used the Tanguy and Dembele transfer as an example. We didn't sign him on for 3 years. He broke our record, and then he thought that would be okay because we spent 65 million in one hit. Well, no, it's not acceptable. Yes, it's breaking the record. Well done, but you didn't buy anyone for 3 windows, so obviously it's going to be money just sitting there. Now, when you bring in a player like this and you don't give him the funds needed, then it's obvious to see he cannot get away with that. He cannot get away with that. It will be like, you've done it again. It will show if Conte, Mourinho and Poch, so Conte right now top of the game. Poch started with us, and by the time he finished, he was in that bracket.
He was getting there, yeah.
And Mourinho, obviously, because of his reputation. If all 3 of them can get to finals, or the 2 have and not win, and then when they've needed to be backed, not been backed, and then it happens again, then you've only got one place and one place to look. And like you said, this time it will be toxic, but it won't be toxic fan against fan. It'll be toxic fans towards Levy. Not manager, not players, Levy.
Yeah, completely agree. It's the last straw for ENIC and Levy, in my opinion. It's the last straw if they want to keep the fans on side. If they want to keep the fans on side, they have to show ambition and they have to back this manager, because this manager, you can't bring him in without backing him. You can't bring him in. You've seen time and time again how this team throw managers consistently under the bus. We need some fresh players in. We need to get some of the deadwood out. We need Antonio Conte to wean out the players he doesn't want and get them out. And we need to bring his players of his ilk and his image in.
Yep, it's like going to a Jimi Hendrix. Okay, you're going on concert, but I'm not giving you any guitars.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to play air guitar. It's literally, this man needs money to get in the. And you got to remember with Paratici as well. We know what they've done together. We've seen with Paratici when he brought in Romero the calibre of players he can bring in. Now you add Conte to that, the net widens even more to a better calibre of player, and we have to take advantage of it, and we have to take advantage of it in January.
Yeah, and we've seen before at Juventus, Paratici and Conte is a recipe for success. And on Paratici, I know you slightly disagree with me here. I'll let you have your say in a second. But for me, he's earned that Don status by bringing in Antonio Conte. But not just bringing in Antonio Conte, acting fast on Nuno and stealing the march on Manchester United, because I think if this went on a few more weeks and a few more bad results for Oli, it could have easily gone the other way. Oli could have easily been sacked and Conte could be at Man United in a couple of weeks. So I think great job there from Fabio to persuade Conte to come as well under all the circumstances that has been the circus of Tottenham Hotspur. So for me, he's earned his Don status, and I am super happy with Fabio. And it's not just that. Like, yeah, I know it was Fabio's man. Nuno was Fabio's man, right? But it wasn't his first man. His first man was Antonio Conte. And he couldn't get Antonio Conte because of the negotiations Levy went through like a month or a few weeks before he came in. So, yes, it wasn't his first man. It wasn't his second man. It was his third man. And it was kindly pretty much the only man willing to come in the summer after everything that had gone on. So I'm not going to put the Nuno appointment down too much on Fabio, but I want to commend him on some of the players that he's brought in the summer. Like you said, Christian Romero definitely being one of them. That is a big plus down next to his name. And Antonio Conte, for me, for that Antonio Conte hiring alone, he earns that Don status. And what about you?
So, as Bon Jovi said, whoa, we're halfway there. Listen, he has done what he has done. He's made a huge impact on this club right now. A huge impact of getting him in there. That is massive. So for me, he has to get the players in January that Conte wants. I don't mean get a whole array of them, but a couple of players with the money we supposedly have. and get them in. Now, if we get in 2 players, one of them I've said all this stream, the one I really want is Vlahovic, because we need to support Kane. We need to give Kane competition. If he comes in and another player comes in, then he will get the Don nod from me. But like I said, we're halfway there, so I'm going to call him Do Paratici.
All right, I love that. But that is it. Antonio Conte is officially Tottenham Hotspur manager. Will be taking his first game on Thursday night against Vitesse at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And his first Premier League game will be the game just before the international break at Everton away this weekend. And I can't wait to be there at both games. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. I want to know your thoughts on this signing or the managerial appointment in the comment section below. And I want to know your thoughts on the board and Paratici now that this has happened. Let me know your comments in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.